Y'all, I'ma just say it. DC desperately needs to step up their animation game because Marvel is cooking them right now. Spider-Verse movies have changed the game, not only in superhero animation, but animation in general. And now we got X-Men 97, a show that I wasn't even really looking forward to. It's been killing it so far, bringing back a lot of the visual and storytelling elements that I loved from the golden age of superhero animation. And last week, Sony dropped The Spider-Within, a short film that focuses on Miles Morales' internal conflict, and it was phenomenal. Mind you, it would have been nice if we could have gotten beyond the Spider-Verse on the date that they promised us. I'd much rather them take the time to cook than rush it. But then you look across the aisle at what DC's been putting out lately, you can't help but look at them a little sideways. They used to be a leader in the realm of animated adaptation, on the cutting edge of the culture, the cream of the crop, but they refuse to innovate. Want to keep recycling the same cheap direct-to-video format that they've been doing for the last 20 years? Lately, it feels like the quality's just been getting worse and worse. They could have had a Batman Beyond movie that could have potentially rivaled Spider-Verse. They kicked it to the curb, left it on the cutting room floor. Yeah, What If didn't end up hitting as hard as it should have. Still 10 times more visually appealing than anything DC's been putting out in the last 8 years. I already was pretty mixed on the New 52 movies they made. I thought that there were a lot that worked, but there were also a lot that didn't. But at least it has some sort of narrative through line that kept the hardcore fans invested. This new batch of movies they've been making, the Tomorrowverse, ass. The only one I actually enjoyed was the first one they made, the Superman one, and some of the Long Halloween. I just can't look past the animation and the ugly character design. You can tell they're cutting corners with their animation because their budget's probably been slashed in half. Who designed this Flash costume, bro? Who's responsible? Why does his mask look so weird? Why does he need an extra lightning bolt on his belt buckle? Then you had other more standalone projects like the Young Justice revival, which I was not a huge fan of. I just felt like they added too many superfluous side characters that weren't really that interesting. Took away focus from the main heroes we came to see from seasons 1 and 2. There's some good stuff in there, don't get me wrong. There's no X-Men 97, that's for damn sure. And what else does DC have at this point? Super Pets? Teen Titans Go? Come on, bruh. Get it together. Y'all used to be titans of the industry the Marvel was scrambling to compete with. But it's 2024. I'ma need y'all to kick it up a notch. Step 1, get on your hands and knees and beg the Spider-Verse producer who pitched you this Batman Beyond movie to make it. Step 2, all these shitty direct-to-video movies you got in development, kick them to the curb. Nobody's watching them anymore because you're not making movies that are worth watching. So why don't y'all just take that money and invest into building something new? Learn from your competitors. But what do you guys think? Is Marvel dominating the world of animation right now? And what does DC need to do to keep up with the Joneses? Let me know in the comments below, and if you fly like me, give me a follow.
And I started thinking to myself, man, what did he do to make them niggas that mad?
Gambit, you a better man than me. That's all I'ma say. Gave your life, sacrificed yourself for some nyash you never even touched. Who had you competing with a geriatric, reformed supervillain who's so old he'd probably be saying shit like egad and good heavens in the bedroom. She was gonna leave your ass for him to be his queen. She was gonna die trying to save your competition from the Sentinel. And not only did you stop her, you then went on to make the sacrifice play. Jokes aside, this was hands down one of the most selfless, heroic deaths I've ever seen in fiction. Gambit went out like an absolute G. Yes, he did it for every mutant on Genosha, not just Rogue. Yes, it needed to be done, but man, I am telling you, with every ounce of pettiness I got coursing through my veins, that absolutely could not have been me. Especially after that last conversation they had when she was dropping all these devastating bars that would bring grown men to their knees on some "your heart may beat for me, but I can't feel it" type shit. Looking them dead in the eyes and saying, "You light up everything you touch, but never me." Hell to the no. There ain't a single squad in the multiverse who could do me like that and still have me save their life after. That's how I know I ain't cut out for this superhero shit. Can we talk about how diabolical the motherfuckers who wrote this show are? How they played with my emotions? All the promotional material and teasers they showed for this episode was nothing but witty. Ron Genosha, everybody, let's have a good time. Brought back the homie Nightcrawler, my favorite X-Men, cameos and Easter eggs out the wazoo. It's a brand new dog for mutants, everybody. Hot dog, hot diggity dog. 20 minutes later, mass genocide. Time to watch all your favorite characters get obliterated by the intolerance of mankind personified. Like, damn, son, I just came to see my boy Nightcrawler. I didn't sign up for this shit. The way this show lulls you into a false sense of security, thinking you and your favorite characters are gonna be safe, only to completely pull the rug out from under you when you least expect it and say, haha, gotcha, bitch. How dare you, X-Men 97? How dare you make me feel things? That being said, the show is peak.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm going through a lot of shit right now. Going through a lot of shit, bro. Going through a lot of shit, bro. I feel like I can't take this shit no more.
Nothing like you. Thank God, because it's the only reason you people are still alive.
My new theory for X-Men 97 is that we are all currently witnessing the birth of Cyclops' villain arc. I think the season is going to end with Magneto having survived the Genosha attack, abandoning Xavier's peace philosophy, and returning to his classic Magneto way. And I think Cyclops is going to join him. I think it's where we get the dark mutant supremacist version of Cyclops that we see later on in the comics, who stood on business working with Magneto to bring about a mutant revolution. Because I think we're really starting to see all the underlying trauma and baggage that Cyclops has accumulated over the years since the X-Men first started, finally starting to boil to the surface and challenge and even change his view on certain things. Even his love for Jean. In less than like 6 weeks, dude went from being the head of the Xavier Institute in a happy relationship with Jean Grey, who was expecting a first child, playing second banana to his former arch nemesis, who literally warned him, hey, no matter how much these humans can put on smiles and save face and say that they accept mutants as people, when push comes to shove, they will stab you in the back the first chance they get. And that's exactly what happened, both with the attack on Genosha and this interview, where this fake-ass news reporter comes in like a wolf in sheep's clothing under the guise of compassion and empathy and understanding the mutant plight, only to completely derail the conversation by asking him all these irrelevant questions about the birth of his son Nathan in some lame attempt at a gotcha. Acting like this superhero choosing not to disclose personal information about his family is somehow an indictment on the entire mutant community, which might be one of the realest things we've seen in this show yet. From day one of the X-Men's formation, Cyclops has given everything to this team, 110% every damn day, and all he's gotten in return is trauma, heartbreak after heartbreak, and ridicule from the very same group of people who he's sworn to protect. And I really think it's only a matter of time until this version of Cyclops says, fuck it. I tried it the nice way. I tried to be diplomatic about it, and it never worked. So yeah, let's take this shit over. Cussing out your man for cheating on you in the astral plane while you're actively cheating on him in the real world is nasty work. I made my jokes in episode 3 about how Logan tried to make his move when Jean was at her most vulnerable, but that is not what happened here. She actively initiated that shit. So for her to have the gall to get all high and mighty about Scott's psychic affair with a woman who, I will remind you, is Jean's perfect genetic clone with all her memories, that shit was A1 gaslighting, dog. I was almost impressed. How you could totally make the argument that they're both in the wrong for this situation? I lean more towards Scott's side, I ain't gonna lie. Cause Scott just suffered an unimaginable loss in having to part ways with his firstborn son to save his life. Madeline, like it or not, is still the biological mother of that child, the only one who understands what he's going through. Obviously, some communication between them should be expected. They just took it too far. Have the real Jean and Scott ever had an actual conversation defining their relationship? Because if they did, we haven't seen it. All in all, it's just, yeah, super messy situation that nobody really comes out of looking that great. We are here with the field commander of the X-Men, Scott Summers. Thank you so much for doing this interview,
No,
Scott.
thank you. I think it's really important that we have these conversations to raise awareness of the mutant struggle, because, you know, at the end of the day, we're all in this together. We're mutants, but we're also people just like you.
I couldn't agree more. Now tell us about these birth certificates I found detailing the birth of your first son,
Whoa,
Nathan.
what?
Which is funny, because didn't you say you didn't have
I'm
any
sorry.
children?
I wasn't expecting personal questions like this. I
Oh,
don't
I'm
know
sorry,
if
I
I'm
didn't
really
mean to
comfortable
overstep. You
answering
just
that
move on
on
to the
air.
next question if you'd be more comfortable with that.
Yeah, next question would be good. Yeah.
Yes, tell us about how you blatantly lied to the public by claiming not to have any children despite
Okay.
this birth certificate proving
Not
otherwise.
seeing what that really has to do with the mutant struggle or anything, but
So you're declining the
nah,
comment.
I'm not really comfortable answering that. Can we just like go to the next
Oh, of
question?
course, my sincere
Like,
apologies.
why
I
don't we
was
talk
going
about what
over
happened
why
with
there was-
Magneto
yeah.
at the Capitol the other week? Like, why don't we
It
talk
says
about
here
that?
all records of your son mysteriously vanished mere days after his conception. Did you sacrifice
Excuse
him in
me?
some grotesque mutant ritual to steal his blood?
Nah. What do you? What
Is
did
you
you? What did
illegitimate
you just say?
bastard son the harbinger of doom for the
Oh
human
hell
race?
nah!
Answer the question, damn.
Marvel, I don't give a damn if this man murdered his entire family. Any showrunner capable of creating this absolute banger of an X-Men show deserves a pass for whatever the hell reason you had for firing. Now don't get me wrong, if we were to find out that he was like touching kids or something, yeah, give him the boot and the chair while you're at it. But if the rumors are true that they did it because homeboy had OnlyFans on the side, this may very well go down in history as the biggest bag fumble in the history of superhero entertainment since they fired James Gunn over 10-year-old tweets. Oh, in all seriousness, I'm sure Disney has their reasons whether we agree with them or not. There's also been rumblings online that he was creating a toxic work environment. What that even means or what that would even look like day to day, I don't know because I wasn't there. But man, it wasn't until the show actually started coming out that I realized what we're losing. Every single week a new episode comes out, and I keep waiting for them to miss, but they never do. In the heat of battle, they don't miss. I know the original creator already mapped out the majority of the next couple seasons. I just hope that once that material runs out, this show doesn't lose its magic. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. And if you fly like me, give me a follow. This might be a hot take for X-Men 97, but I just gotta say it. I don't know how I feel about Charles coming back. It's just a very strange story choice to me that I'm not sure I like. I know he was never actually dead. He was just brought to space by the Lantern to heal his wounds. But if you go back and actually watch that finale, they were pretty much treating it like he did. I always liked the idea that Xavier leaving Earth to be with the one he loved signified the end of an era for this version of the X-Men. How after 5 whole seasons of him being this strong guiding force for the team, imparting all of his wisdom and knowledge onto this new generation of mutants, now that he's gone, it's up to his students to put his lessons into practice and keep his dream of human-mutant coexistence alive. Always kind of viewed Charles' role in this universe like how Magneto described himself in episode 5, as the Moses figure who would guide mutant kind to the promised land but never get the chance to see it. Which is why the original finale felt so impactful and definitive. Hell, the episode was even called Graduation Day, as in moving on. But to have him drop everything he was doing to race back to Earth to bail his students out, I feel like kinda undercuts that narrative. The fact that he even feels like he has to do that basically proves that he failed them. This team doesn't have what it takes to carry on his legacy without him. Not only that, but if Charles really felt like he had that moral obligation to protect his students, why didn't he leave the Shi'ar Empire months ago? In the original finale, I was led to believe that if Charles left Earth, he wouldn't be able to come back. So if him coming back was just a matter of him wanting to enough, why was it nearly as big of a deal as they made it out to be? All that being said, I'm still keeping an open mind because this show has not disappointed me yet, and I'm pretty sure it's all gonna make sense in the next batch of episodes we're getting. But if I'm going based off where we are in the story right now, it just kind of feels like a step backwards to me. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below, and if you fly like me, bless your boy a follow. Who the
the hell gave this show permission to be this damn good? I'm genuinely asking. I need to know. Gave me the Summers family, Cyclops, Jean Grey, and Cable, who now all know that they're related to each other, fighting side by side. Gave me Swashbuckle and Triple Sword Wheeling Nightcrawler, who is my personal favorite X-Man. And Berserker Rage Wolverine going absolutely ham defended the X-Mansion against the Neo Sentinels. You gave us complex and nuanced themes about oppression and bigotry and intolerance, presenting uncomfortable truths that history has a way of repeating itself. A symbolism with Bastion's Neo Sentinels. How they're all disenfranchised Reddit edgelords who feel like they're being replaced by the most marginalized group in society. And how the silent 1% preys on those insecurities to turn them into literal tools of oppression. Yet another example of how the writers of the show are able to take elements that were always there in the comics and retool and recontextualize it to better reflect what's going on today. Because for a show called X-Men 97, it's crazy how relevant it is for the world of 2024. Don't even get me started on the building blocks that they're setting in place for the rest of the season. Cameos galore from various characters from different corners of the Marvel universe make the world of this show feel more fleshed out and lived in. With the friggin' bombshell that Magneto dropped at the end of this episode, there's so many different places the show can go from here. We're talking Fatal Attractions, we're talking Onslaught, maybe even Avengers versus X-Men. Who the hell knows? The possibilities are literally endless. X-Men 97 is a prime example of why we need to expect more from these big corporations making these comic book movies. Because the more we as fans make excuses for the mediocrity Marvel's been putting out lately, like Love and Thunder, Quantumania, She-Hulk, the Marvels, the less incentive we give them to actually strive for greatness. Every time I criticize the lack of ingenuity we're seeing from a lot of these live action projects, I get all the mouth breathers in the comment section saying, oh, you're just a hater, why can't you just lower your expectations? This is why. Holy shit. You know, every time I sit down to watch a new episode of X-Men 97, I think to myself, oh, they're not gonna go there. Oh, they're not gonna do that. Oh, they're not gonna adapt that comic storyline. You'd really think I would have learned by now not to underestimate the writing for this show. I was already losing my mind when I saw they were putting on the classic X-Men uniforms from the 70s and 80s. I did find it kind of weird that nobody really explained why they were wearing them. Maybe Xavier's return just got everybody feeling nostalgic for the good old days. I don't know. But I appreciate the throwback nonetheless. This was the one aspect of the episode that really didn't work for me. Because while I do understand Rogue defecting to Magneto's side after what happened to Gambit on Genosha, I do not buy this drastic turn for Sunspot's character at all. You went from being the most Uncle Tom, I'm one of the good ones ass mutants who wouldn't even use his powers in a fight, joining the ops and throwing down with this girl. You know, the reasoning they gave was because his mom sold him and Jubilee out to the Sentinels in the last episode, but he already knew his mom had fucked up biases about mutants before that point. It's why he kept his powers a secret from her in the first place. I feel like if we saw more of him actually being part of the team, like going on missions and shit, we see over the course of the season that the more he tries to be an X-Man, the more he's punished for it, then it will make a lot more sense for him to be like, you know what, I'm tired of this shit. The way his arc played out in this episode just felt very forced and rushed in my opinion. But seeing Jubilee finally reunite with Storm after everything the both of the characters have been through this season was a super cathartic and heartwarming moment. But we all know what we're really here to talk about. Get us some milk! Yo, Magneto packed his ass up. Comic readers will recognize this image from the iconic Fatal Attraction storyline, where exactly like what you saw in this episode, Magneto rips the adamantium straight out of Wolverine's body, bringing about the infamous Bone Claws era of Wolverine's history, which I fucking hate. I hate the Bone Claws. I think they're really dumb. So I'm very intrigued to see what this show that's done nothing but exceed my expectations at every turn does with this storyline. Will they be able to elevate it? Will they be able to do it better than even the comics did? I don't know, but I wouldn't put it past them at this point. I've already seen a lot of folks online mad at Cyclops for blasting Xavier before he could give Magneto the Stephen Hawking treatment. But low-key, I understand why he did what he did, and I'll probably have to explain that in a future video. Yeah, man, if you ask me right now, this show is the pinnacle of superhero entertainment. But do you guys agree? Let me know in the comments below. If you fly like me, give me a follow.